Hi guys, this is a follow-up review of the S8 standard. So this is a head unit by Atoto. There's a few actual iterations or variations of the Atoto head units. There's the A6, which is quite well known and popular, so the S8 I guess is the successor. This is actually the S8 standard, so there's a few models out there. There's the Ultra, Pro. There's a few different versions of the S8, but in a nutshell, this is basically the watered down version. So this is the basic version. It's missing a few features I didn't really feel I needed hugely myself. One of which is the gesture sensor. So you see here where there's a USB, so there's actually a gesture sensor on that on the more advanced versions. Other features that are missing on this, I think, include a possibly slightly upgraded display, and also a SIM card at the back. So if you don't want to tether to your phone, I guess you can put its own SIM card in it. Again, another feature I didn't really need. There's a few extra bells and whistles. So this one only has 2 gigs of RAM. Better ones have 4 gigs of RAM. But you know, in real world use, I don't know if you'd find a massive difference. Perhaps you would. Only you'd sort of know that, but I can say from my experience that this seems to be working great. Seems to be working fine. So I picked this unit off AliExpress. I mean, at the time of this video, it was about just under £200, so about $250. Now I've never installed a head unit before, so this has been a bit of a challenge. However, the good news is it's now all working, so I'll just demonstrate. So at the moment the unit is off, and if I just get the key in the ignition, on we go. So I'm really pleased about that. So as you can see, the unit comes on very quickly, and we're going straight to Google Play because that's where I was last time. And so I can control the unit through these buttons. The bottom right is the home button, so that's basically the same as the Android home button up there. As you can see, user interface very quickly. I've installed some things on here. I messed around with the dashboard a bit, or the home screen. I've put a Gamma car launcher. Not really a particular fan of that, but it's there anyway. I've got the usual apps, Chrome, Waze, navigation, and also something called Head Unit Reloaded, which actually is a sort of an Android auto emulator. So just going through the app menu, you can see there's quite a few pre-installed apps. So on my unit, in fact in my vehicle, I've actually got steering wheel controls. And so one of the challenges of wiring this up was actually getting the steering wheel controls to work perfectly. So what I had to do is, when I pull this unit out, which unfortunately I can't do on this video, but you'll see there's wires for steering wheel controls, and assuming you get those set up correctly, you can actually bind them here. So what you do is you basically bring this up, play it on your steering wheel with your controls, and as you press them, you get the option to bind them. So I'm just basically playing with my volume keys there. I've got a call button as well, and as I'm pressing them, you can see the unit's recognizing it. So that's great. So that's all set up. So there's not a huge amount more to say about it. I mean, this is like a tablet really, and you know, it's very, very convenient and very handy. If you're someone like me who's previously been juggling a phone, it's a lot nicer to use this than a phone when you're on the go. So just showing you Google Maps here, pretty fast. You know, that is quick enough. And what you can do to make this even faster is you can actually set this up on startup. So if you swipe down from the top like that, and settings, and I believe it's under general, navigation auto start. So what you can do is you can set an app, so either Waze or maybe Google Maps or another mapping software product you've got, and you can get that to start straight away as soon as you turn the unit off. So that's quite nice. So I don't actually have any other accessories connected to this. My vehicle has got a reversing camera on it, so I didn't really feel the need to to put another one on there. I've also got a dash cam. Unfortunately, I couldn't integrate that into this, which would have been absolutely brilliant. So yeah. What I did integrate, however, is the OBD. So down here, I've got a fuse box, and I've got this ProScan automotive that hooks up to the unit via Bluetooth. So it took me a moment. Never mind. It took me a moment to get the hang of how to actually connect this up. But what you've got to do, and this is, I think, a little bit of a product limitation, is you've got to connect this up through settings as such. Bluetooth 2, and what you've got to do is you've got to turn it on, and yeah, so you've got to press OBD and pair that. So at the moment, as far as I can tell, you have to do this each time, which is a little bit of a product limitation, I guess. I don't know whether it's an Android thing or a head unit thing or what, but if Atoto could maybe in a future, hey, how do you like that? That's the name of my phone. Warning, devices infected. That stops people jumping onto my phone who I don't know. Bit of a joke that, but yeah. You can see other devices here which I'm picking up, so Bluetooth works really great. But like I say about the OBD and other Bluetooth 2 devices, you have to do this thing manually, which is a little bit of a palaver. But, you know, if you're on a long drive, I suppose it's not the end of the world. Now, another little problem I have had with this unit is, for whatever reason, this menu gets stuck. Now, sometimes I'm using apps or I'm going between things. Maybe I'll see if I can try and get this problem to happen. I'm going to maybe a Gamma, and I'll go back, and sometimes I won't be able to drag down from the top. But it seems to be fine so far. So far so good. So I did actually have a little bit of a wiring issue, which I might have mentioned earlier on in this video. So installing this, I previously had a basic radio. So this radio is basically a switch on radio. So as soon as the ignition went on, the radio went on, and it was like an instant boot up radio, no big deal. But the problem was with the harness, I realized this actual connection to this radio was an accessory power connection. So what that means is it only gave power when the key was in the slot, and for this particular unit you need two power sources. You need an accessory and a permanent. And so what I had to do is I had to cut the yellow wire and route it down into my fuse box, which I'll just show you here. And I don't know if you can see it, but I've added a thing called an adder fuse. So that goes on as the permanent 12-volt connection. So the yellow wire has basically been hooked up to this adder fuse. And I must stress, it's very important to use these adder fuses, because you do need a fuse between your permanent live and the head unit. And so then what I did was, back on the head unit, I actually connected the accessory connection, so that's the red wire, and I cut that, and I connected that to the yellow wire on my harness. And so I essentially got the two connections. I got the permanent live on the fuse box, and I got the accessory from what I thought was the permanent live on the harness. So basically yellow went down to the fuse box and red went on to yellow, but I stress this is very vehicle specific. So your vehicle or your experiences may vary, so check your mileage on that. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Any questions, any further functionalities you want me to check with this, any features or any maybe apps, give me some comments, subscribe and like.